All right, welcome back to this special coverage of the 62nd JAMHURI Day celebrations. And of course, we will be linking up with our team on ground at the Nyayo National Stadium, Eva Rugal, as well as David Mudhoka, just to give us details of what's happening there. But also in studio, I am not alone, dissecting the state of affairs in our country at this point. Arnold Maliba, party leader, Progress Press Alliance, Javas Bigambo, governance analyst, as well as political communications strategist, and also joining us, Ruth Kinyanjui, governance and political analyst. Thank you so much for making time for us. A little bit late, but you are allowed.
Thank you.
But because you're joining the conversation, and we've made quite a bit of stride in terms of looking back where we've come from to this point and some of the issues that bedevil our nation. I just want to get your initial assessment as well. 62 years down the line, where do you feel as a Kenyan we are?
I had thought we would be in Canaan already. However, we come back to the ground where things are happening. And that notwithstanding, I still am normally a very optimistic person when it comes to the country, and more so this particular holiday, because it means so much for our independence, our conversation, our conversion to who we are really today. And the words that will be brought forward today really will mean make or break, and more so because people want to speculate and say 2026 will be a political year. Yet we are saying, yet I am saying that no, 2026 should be a working year, and it will all be dependent on the sentiments that are going to be brought forward by the president today, and the clearing of the air and the inclusion that I look forward to as a Kenyan, especially because for me and many others, this is where we call home. So whatever is on the table is the only thing that we have. And I'm looking forward to the optimistic and also clearing of the issues that have been said or known or perceived to be controversial. It is not a matter of can the nation be brought together? Can the nation be put in a working mode? Can people be given a small kick in the back in terms of what that needs? Apparently, because Kenya does not need a lot for it to grow. It's a very resilient economy. People are very resilient, and they just need to be given an opportunity to do what they do best in the different areas of the sectors of this country.
And that's an ideal outlook. But whether the president speaks today or he doesn't speak, I feel like the nation, and looking at it historically, we're already being pushed into an environment to think about the next election already.
Yes, because whenever we are talking about politics and election, we want to, it's like somebody removing the reality of life. Politics, there's a way, everything about politics want to remove reality. But we have to come back to the reality on the ground at the end of the day. It does not matter the speculation or the things people want us to look at. At the end of the day, even with all the speculation of an election that is happening, you still have to go to your house in the evening and grab a meal. That is not going to come from the election mode or the euphoria that comes with it. No, we have. And that is why, even from a corporate perspective, we normally say that there has to be smart goals, and reality is bit of it. Time boundness is another thing. So we cannot live in an euphoria of politics, because that is what actually is removing our capability as a people in terms of what needs to be done and contributing to the very thing that really matter most to us, especially the economy, the people. We cannot, I'm not a politician, but if I stood on the premise and the promises of Kina Madimba, who are politicians, then does that mean that I should just be following, you know, without saying anything? No, there has to be something tangible running, even with all the political issues.
Zainab, I agree with the late Kinyanjui. I called her the late because she has come late.
Oh, that's I was wondering, because of that, oh, that's a terrible analogy.
No, basically look at it this way. I agree with her perspective that optimism must be our second name. And she is erroneously referred to him as Madiba. He cannot even come close to Nelson Mandela. I mean, because Mandela was an optimist. A man who knew that even after 27 years, South Africa could become better. And he brought back the spirit of healing and reconciliation into that nation. Today, Zainab, all eyes, all ears will be on what the president will say. The president is not a magician. But given that history has bestowed upon him the opportunity to lead a nation, he will speak to the hearts and minds of my fellow citizens, reminding them that the journey that the past 4 administrations have been making, that yet again, as Kinuthia has put it, Kinyanjui, that actually, and I would put it this way, agreeing with her sentiment, that let every citizen be a mason. Let each citizen play their role, however small way, not being distant bird watchers like Maliba, criticizing. Maliba here, every night, after gallivanting and speaking all through across the media houses, saying that nothing has become better in this country, he will go back to the safety of his house, forgetting that it's the government that ensures that safety. That in other countries, the moment you even leave your house, you're not sure whether you'll reach your destination. We must celebrate, for example, our security forces. The work they're doing, yes, there are challenges. The defense forces. Our borders remain porous, but when you look at the efforts that the government is doing and the investments, it's becoming better. Look at the spirit of inclusion by President William Ruto. Some citizens in this country has been for so long disenfranchised, for so long relegated to the backwaters of the rights of citizens, that even having an identity card has been a problem. The president has made it possible now that every citizen, whoever you are, you must not be discriminated against.
But inclusion meaning what? Political inclusion?
No, inclusion means everything inclusion. Look at it this way. Yes, there is the question of accessing vital government documents such as identity cards, which can help you now to exercise your civic rights of voting when you get to register as a voter. Inclusion here means accepting, for example, as recently, the assentment or the assenting to the Disability Act, the new Disability Act, which now ensures that persons with disability must have an equal place of employment. More than 5% actually should be. And in fact, I would want to challenge media that as we have the Disability Rights Act in Kenya today, here at NTV, at the Nation Media Group, what's the number of persons with disability employed? In government ministries, within the private sector, as she has mentioned. When you look at the issue, for example, of the Conflict of Interest Act that now is in place, helping to fight corruption, and that has been assented to by President William Ruto after the effort by the legislature. Now, look at the issue of asset recovery, efforts of fighting corruption. When you look at Jomo Kenyatta's regime, Daniel Toroitich arap Moi's regime, what was the extent and effectiveness of asset recovery and combating corruption?
So you're saying, the state of corruption is much better now than when it was?
I am saying that corruption, efforts of fighting corruption today have been scaled up to how they were in the first administration, second administration, and even the third administration. What I'm saying is that the journey of fighting corruption is moving forward, and that with the efforts being put in place, we must not just keep on beating ourselves and lamenting. Look at what the Asset Recovery Agency, look at what the Ethics and Anti-Corruption is doing, look at what the DCI is doing, all together with even the police, trying to fight corruption. Yes, there are weaknesses. Yes, the safety nets are still not so strong. But my point is this, and I know Maliba will agree that my point is so pregnant that it's promising twins. My point is that we are becoming better as a nation state compared to how we were at independence.
Arnold, but I was trying to get the latest. There was an EACE, the Ethics and Anti-Corruption report that came out just the other day. They highlight that 6 in 10 Kenyan youth aged between 18 and 34 admit they would take bribes if unobserved, linking this to barriers in education, jobs, and even financial aid.
So, now that we're here today, I'm so happy that this particular show has actually chosen to do a proper open heart surgery as opposed to preaching. The president will do the preaching if he wants. He used to be a Christian. He can, I don't know whether he still practices it. So he will do the preaching. For us here, we will do a proper analysis. And the only thing that I'm sad about today is that my people took time. They went to the field, they worked in school. At least I know one of them who worked as a lecturer, and they educated their son in the person of Javas Bikamo. so that he ends up being this hopeless propagandist that you see here. This is not the man I went to school with. This here,
but
this
Arnold, you are the one speaking about taking personal jabs.
I am responding because.
And I'm not here to his aid or defense.
It's fine. Don't worry. Just allow. Just ensure that you are an arbiter.
Your point is very weak.
When you kept quiet, no, I will not let you. This is the point I was saying.
So weak,
that my people went to work, brought this man, including going to bed to bring up this man. I went to school with him, and my teachers labored.
But we are here to discuss issues.
Yeah, he spoke about me. He spoke about me. Like, for example, allow me to actually respond. When she referred me to me as Madiba, he did not. He went on and took a jab. You didn't even intervene. So relax. This is a siblings thing. So it has to land whatever way. So this is the point that my brother here, educated as he is, and by the way, he went to a good school. I know his father is a proper man. I know his people are solid. I'm only bleeding. My heart is bleeding that after my people did all that work, that this is the product of that much work. Be that as it may, let me respond to the issues he has raised. Number one.
Before you do, let me give you an opportunity to also respond to you. In a second.
I was responding to him when he said, I cannot be Madiba. I was responding to him. Unless that is, we will go on until it's over. So allow me to execute the point now. So this is number one.
Okay. Javas, allow him to make his point.
So a quick one. He has spoken. He has spoken about what the president has done. He's spoken about people who are hitherto the guys who are marginalized and could not get IDs and everything else. Dear Javas Bigambo, it is not the president, it is the Constitution. The Constitution 2010 is not written in pencil that we implement and erase where we like and where we don't like. That should not be. As in, those are the things I'm talking about. The bad history and where we've come from. That what is given to us as of right, people should not then deny us and then bring it back and look like they are saviors. That is lazy thinking, number one. Number two, when you talk about conflict of interest, it is the World Bank. We wanted money from the World Bank, and we were forced to take it up. It wasn't about a regime that literally the whole primary family is actually, as in that law, the World Bank was forcing that because the administration of the day is simply complicit and the one doing that.
You cannot corroborate that.
Number three, I can and I will.
You cannot corroborate.
Number three, when you talk about corruption, as in, this administration is not even fighting corruption and they have not even led. So I don't know why you are forcing it on them. This administration is not interested in corruption. The other day when the president was giving the State of the Nation address, he had 163 bullets in his statement, 30 pages. He spoke 12,000 words. He only mentioned the word corruption once. Out of the 12,000 words he spoke. He's here making corruption look like it's an agenda for this administration. It is not. William Ruto is not fighting corruption. He has not even pretended to fight corruption. He has not even said it. He's not interested. So do not award him what he does not do.
Let him respond. Let him respond.
Can I execute my point?
No, it's fine. You see, you're making claims which I think it is fair to allow.
No, Arnold.
Which claim did I make? To the issue of corruption.
No, which claim did I make?
You are making strange arguments.
It was strange. I'm responding to you. I am giving you data.
No, forget. There's no data there.
Figures.
There's no data there. You're making strange arguments.
I'm
even wondering whether you have a gizzard.
Look at this.
Look, Arnold. Arnold.
This is tautology.
Our parliament.
This is tautology.
Zainab, our parliament enacted legislation. It is the place of our parliament to come up with the legislation, which is assented to by the president to become law. It is the parliament of Kenya that worked through the 3 stages to have the conflict of interest bill taken to the president to be enacted.
It's not parliament that originated. It came from the cabinet.
No.
It came from the cabinet.
No, look.
It came from the cabinet.
You see, there is no need for you to be disparaging institutions in this country. Institutions that actually are making governance possible and better.
Institutions.
No.
Raising an
I am talking about fighting corruption in this country.
The president is right. The institutions don't matter.
Look.
apparently, Zainab, they're in their own extreme.
No. As a matter of fact.
Let me just say, you are both in your own extreme, which is fine. But you see, at the end of the day, life has to go on, whether corruption is being taken care of or whether it's not being taken care of.
That is fine.
What I'm saying is, even in our own extremes, which is fine, I think we have to deliver an objective opinion in terms of what needs to be done.
That is correct.
And that's why I said my expectation today is that I be given hope that Kenyans can still be given the energy to still work. And they can feel that their business are going to be safe.
Arnold said,
that is also an extreme. But you see, legitimate expectations.
It is not extreme because this means that the livelihood of every Kenyan is going on every day.
Madam Kinjo, I'll tell you this. Legitimate expectations do not lead to legitimate self-execution. And that's why we've got leaders and institutions in place for execution.
Expectation
look. You see, for Maliba, fighting corruption, the president has got to mention the word corruption after every 1 minute.
No.
He is not doing it. The architecture of our institution.
I know we cannot come to a resolution.
The president is fighting corruption, and the president is not. That's what I'm saying.
I'm saying
he's not fighting corruption.
The government is fighting corruption. Look at the measures.
It is not even in the manifesto.
When the Ethics and the Anti-Corruption Commission is seizing assets, recovering assets from persons that have been implicated and found to be guilty of corruption, is that not fighting corruption and even acting as deterrents?
Okay.
Maliba,
you gave that to the president. EACC is a constitutional commission.
Now you see, Maliba,
you are the one who's disparaging institutions.
When the president assented
the president
to the
president is a serviceman. He is serving us.
When the president assented to the conflict of interest act to become an act.
Ruth, you said you want to be given hope. Kenyans, and I said here earlier, Kenyans have been given hope.
No single institution can work alone.
Okay, so gentlemen, let's have this discussion in a sober manner, certainly, because you both have points, and there's a divergence of opinion when it comes to this
when I'm
issue.
Presenting my point is this, that when he speaks, I allow him to speak.
Okay, fine.
The only time I interfere or continue to speak is when it is my tab and he is interfering.
No, it's fine. He wanted, because you had made a claim to which he strongly felt
I allowed him to make so many claims and I was responding to them.
Okay, fine. So, kindly finish.
So, this is it. And I'm still talking to the things he raised. He spoke about my safety, that when I leave this place and after I've gallivanted and done everything else, I'll go home to my safety and other places that cannot happen. This is the point. Number one, the Constitution, like I said, is not written in pencil. My safety should be my right. I am a citizen as of right. So do not make it that going home safely is a favor. It's not a favor. The only reason why the president is on that seat is to do that work. And if he doesn't want to do it, somebody else will do it. So don't make it look like it's a favor. The president or the administration does not secure me out of a favor. It is a right. And they swore to the Constitution. Just allow me to actually continue. It's me addressing what you said.
So Arnold,
the other thing is
kindly wind up so that I can also hear from Rose.
The other thing is this. I need to say this. That Kenya as a country has made so much progress. I'm repeating that for the third time. But a lot of the progress we have made is a product of the people of Kenya as individuals, deciding sometimes against unfavorable legal conditions, unfavorable policy decisions, and unfavorable governance to continue and proceed. The reason why a third of people never register as voters is because they've given up on our politics. The reason on even a third of the people who register as voters do not turn up is because of that. So we are speaking to this, that the leaders that come, we already gave ourselves the hope. Look at the preamble in the Constitution. We already defined where we want to go. The people we recruit, the people who show up and want to work for us, must make Jamhuri Day count. 62 years and counting is not a time for us to come here or listen to the president giving us hope, giving us snake oil. That is not for 62 years old country. We cannot be comparing ourselves to other people. You will have your turn. Be easy. You will not continuously be talking about comparatives and pointing out where we are going and doing a lot of platitudes. We are a country that already we have demonstrated. The people of Kenya have demonstrated that they are willing to work, and they work every day. The people of Kenya every day sacrifice. What do we need? The government to simply do its work. and that work is constitutional. When the government doesn't do its work, it is our right again as the co-architects, co-governors, to raise these issues. So you do not become very uncomfortable burning and boiling in when we are simply pointing out the things that are not correct.
All right, let's hear,
I think
kindly, let's
and I want to say, I want to take it from where Java said, and he said that the president is not a magician. But I think he is, because he said that he understands his work and this nation and is going to sort it. So for many people down there, they are looking at it like work has to be done. So in today's address, there is a lot of expectation, yeah? And those expectations, how they go, is actually how people are going to go back home, fulfilled or not fulfilled, is what is going to set the tone for 2026, we like it or not. And do you know why I'm saying that? Because today is the biggest address that will happen before the June address of the finance bill. I can tell you for sure, we will not have another big address from the president. And if we expect any other after that, it will come all the way into November during the normal constitutional catch-up or address to the nation. So today's address is so important, and I look at it as like something that is going to set the stage between now and the next year at the same time, and ensuring that no ball is dropping, that all the crystal balls for him will be on the air, and he will balance them very well. Actually, those are whatever he says today will determine his political goodwill and how other people, especially those who have been feeling like they're not part of him, are going to feel like they're embraced. And everyone wants to be included. You've talked about inclusion, and inclusion needs, especially even for women. I'm talking about inclusion, including Zainab, even us women. There has to be inclusion. I normally, whenever I've gone to a state function, that is where I've seen more men than women. Actually, whenever I go to a state function, just know that is where women. But also, can I ask, is there a place for women in this country? Can they be given an opportunity? Because still, even the opportunities that are there, they are minuscule, they are not a third. They need to be increased. And the inclusion, the fact that women, we are the biggest number of voters, Zainab, I mean, and our children, you know, if that can be considered. So this address is so important, and it has to come very clear, and it has to lay a basis for the next 12 months, finance bill notwithstanding.
Correct. And I agree with your sentiment, 100%. In fact, this speech by the president today is not just important, it's historical. And let's agree that when a leader in the place of the president, a sacred position created and bestowed upon him by the Constitution, is speaking to a country on a day critical such as this, he's lifting the spirit of a nation up. He's speaking to the great desires of men and women in this country, women that you're talking about. And even it's the president, William Ruto, who said, for example, and on his part, that it is important for political parties to be considering women, in fact, even as running mates, for purposes of not just inclusion, but a matter of entrenching them in the place of governance within political parties and generally for the nation state. The other thing is this. When we talk about the president putting issues of inclusion as a priority, he's laying down the architecture for it. I've talked about the issue of issuing IDs, for example, to people who've been relegated for a very long time. Look at the issue of youth. Programs such as Climate Works. Look at the opportunities that young men and women and local companies are having when it comes to affordable housing. When it comes to creating an opportunity to have a roof over each person's head is a priority for the president, we must appreciate that these are steps being taken. Maliba is saying that the roles such as security are critical roles that the law provides and the Constitution. He is very right. And when the president and the government is doing that, you just need to appreciate that actually it is happening. We are able to have law and order when our security teams are working. When they don't work, there will be a breakdown of law and order. And my point is that let us give due where it is supposed to.
And I see, Jarvis, just to mention very quickly before we continue, Chief Justice Martha Koome has also arrived at the Nyayo National Stadium. That's Chief Justice Martha Koome, who has just made her way to the stadium. And of course, we'll be linking up with our team there in just a moment. But yes, to continue, I hope I did not interrupt that trail of thought, but very quickly before we go back to...
Yes. So my point is this. For whatever provisions the Constitution provides, there must be institutions and leaders in those institutions to execute them. And that is why we have Chief Justice in office and judges. And remember that for all the three arms of government, they derive their sovereign power from the people. And that is why when the Chief Justice and the courts perform their duties, we appreciate that they are doing a good job.
All right.
When Parliament is passing bills and sending them to the President for assent, Parliament is doing its job, and we should appreciate that. When the President is executing his executive mandate, we appreciate that he's executing his executive mandate. When the police are keeping cities and neighborhoods and villages safe, we should appreciate that they are doing that. When there are limitations, we point them out, but we should appreciate they are doing a good job.
Despite some serious indictment, first of all, to the legislature, to the judiciary, the issues of juris spesa, if I may point it out, the president himself speaking about corruption within Parliament. And just to mention also very quickly, on your screen, live pictures are coming from the Nyayo National Stadium. Moses Wetangula, the National Assembly Speaker, was also arrived. Yes, but let's wind up so that we can hear
my
from
point is this. In matters ethics, matters fighting corruption, let's face it, beyond the institutions that are in place to do that business of fighting corruption, we must also make it personal. You've given statistics here and data that some young people have said that without being observed, they would easily give or take a bribe.
And not just some,
Yeah,
6 out of 10
exactly. My point is this.
young people.
Fighting corruption should also be a personal issue. Zainab, if you give a bribe, why should you blame an institution for not doing its work when you have given a bribe?
But in what environment does this bribe?
My point is this. Right? My point is this. Fighting corruption is multifaceted.
Okay.
And that's why we need individuals, we need institutions, we need policies, we need laws.
But they tell you the reason. They tell you we cannot access education, we do not have access health.
We have had all those years.
I'll give an example.
Apparently,
I'll give you just one example, then you respond.
Yeah.
When a parent is paying to have exams behind the door for their children, which they're going to sit, would you blame the government? You blame that parent, even you also blame that institution that is leaking that exam. That's what I'm saying. We must wear critical lenses to look at things from a bird's eye view. That let each of us play our part, institution or individual.
Okay. Arnold.
First of all, I just want to congratulate all Kenyans today alive on the 62nd JAMHURI Day. Dear Kenyans, you're doing well. You have worked hard as individuals. You have, as citizens, done your responsibility quite well. You went to the vote, you registered as voters, you have kept the administration that be on its toes, you have done public participation, and in times when it actually has called you to actually get up and actually voice up, you actually have done. So today, the people that we should celebrate largely are Kenyans that wake up every morning and ensure that the republic works, that the country, the nation is what it is. Those young people that speak up, those that are waking up every single day, the things difficult as they are. And we should also not be cowed or be threatened not to call out when things are not proper. That we have got a promise in the Constitution. There is a promise we gave to ourselves. If you look at the preamble is the summary both of the laws that we are giving ourselves and the aspirations of what we need. So, Kenyans have done well. Ruth said that ours is a resilient economy. Of course, a resilient economy comes from a resilient people. Our people are very resilient. Many times we have been let down by the political classes, the political class. Many times we have actually been let down by the business class, who also sometimes partner up with the political class to ensure that policies and some programs and projects that come in really are against us because they prioritize profit over people. Those are the things we know. But we as Kenya have held fort and we've done well. What do I expect from the president today? I have said repeatedly that hope is not a strategy. and that 62 years after independence, we shouldn't be speaking in a manner like something will fall into place. As in, if we do not work out of it deliberately, it doesn't come to be. But hoping against hope, because I'm a practicing Christian, and the Bible tells us that sometimes you hope against hope. Hoping against hope, I would expect that the president does not take a lot of time telling us what he has done, because what has been done can be seen. He should have a paragraph or two to talk about what he has done, but he should address the issues we have now. For example, the rains have failed. Next year, we will be having food shortage. About 2.1 million people by January will be facing hunger. And I'm talking about, if you look at global hunger index, we have got 2.1 million people next year.
Mandela has already entered into a drought situation.
Yeah, so we have got those issues.
So you want the president to speak to the interventions?
Instead of him repeating affordable housing and whatever, we already know the numbers that are there, the challenges that are there. We are even funding it. We've given him so much money that he doesn't know what to do with it. He's actually invested it elsewhere. So he should not regurgitate that. We know. Funding, we know. Secondly, he should not remind us about SHA and whatever. We have accepted that that is the fate. We went to the ballot and voted for that. If you go to a forest and bring firewood, and that firewood has got black ants or red ants, zikianza kukuuma unavumilia. Kwa hivyo tunavumilia tayari. He should at least attempt, and I want to go back to you and rescind my initial statement, that I want the president to also give me hope that he will do away with corruption. I want him to give me hope that he will do away with the tribalism. He will undo these ethnic appointments. That you cannot have a single, for example, ethnic group occupying a third of the lucrative positions of parastatals, and we say everything is okay. That is not how you build a republic. That we will honor the men in uniform, the people that watch over our country, by ensuring that their allowances are not stolen, that ensuring that they get their promotions fairly, that we do not have to get people giving bribes. The reason why a Somali is likely to give a bribe to get an ID is because somebody has created an environment where it is impossible to get an ID.
And why would you pick ethnically just a Somalian?
Yes, I'm going with that because he raised the issue of marginalization, and I'm actually speaking to the positive side. That when you realize that people have to bribe, he spoke about, he blamed the people that are giving bribes. I was actually coming to that. People do not give bribes because they like. No one gives a bribe because they like. It's because the registries has got gatekeepers that put us in situations where you are a Kenyan and you have to give money to get your ID. Those are the small things. The same way the president told us that do not, if you go to a hospital, he told us by himself, if you go to a hospital for services in level 1, 2, 3, and anybody asks you for money, go to the nearest police station, forget that you are sick. Go to the nearest police station and say that they be arrested. I'd like him to actually come out and live with that. Because the issues Kenyans are complaining, people are complaining about their pay slips being raided. All of us know that, right? We want him to tell us that our money is being used properly. Let him give us hope that what we are seeing around here, the thrift, the wastage, the stealing that we see around here. The simple reason why people are so bitter out here is because they contribute their money. And by the way, he's spoken about appreciating what government is doing. You're appreciating and you're paying for it.
So I spoke to the Treasury Cabinet Secretary John Buddy 2 weeks ago. Yeah. This is what he says. We cannot fix the micro without fixing the macro.
We have done the macros well.
Then the president
has done the macros very well.
But not all it goes back to then the issue of the infrastructure fund, the sovereign
that's what I'm saying.
Fund as well.
Kenyans are faithfully waking up in the morning, working and contributing their fair share. They are not refusing to wake up and work, because if they refuse to wake up and work, government will not have money. We are giving birth and having numbers that the government can use to hedge and even get credit, so that we give the people out there hope that if you give us money, there are people here who will actually pay for it. So the ordinary Kenyan has paid their price. I'm talking about the things I expect from the president. So rather than talk about what the president has done, that we have done. By the way, when a man takes a lot of time to talk about what he has done, a lot of times he has done nothing.
Let's hear from you.
You know, I'm looking at it, and I'll take from the resilience of the Kenyan people, because to be honest, were it not for that resilience, the spurring economic growth of this country will be out of the window, you know. And it is those people who wake up every day to just go do their thing that contribute so largely. Actually, the narrative should change from the way we normally say at its Serikali idea. Right now, it's mwananchi idea, because the contribution, actually, I normally feel like it's normally really played down. The contribution each and every person does. For example, I don't know what time you are here, Zainab, to do your thing, and what time the other person. And even as he's reminding me that I was late, yes, I was. I was also grinding something. I was still contributing to the national cake, you know, because every Kenyan does that so much, and in a way that the spirit cannot easily be broken. And actually, that's why we can see now even KRA has come and said, we are not going to be harassing you people. We are already accepting the kind of work that you do for this nation, because there is so much that Kenyans do to contribute and to make sure that this country is moving. And even where the government fail, whether the county government or the national government, believe you me, people fix their problems within their own areas, because sometimes they don't know how long they can wait. Sometimes it's a procedure of how to go through service delivery. Sometimes it's that is what they are used to, and it's from time to time. However, I want to come to say, and especially because of the appointment that he has talked about, and a third of it, and the fact that even in a third, I think, Mr. President, for me, I would like more women on the table. Why do I say that? Women serve the society. There is no way women serve the impact. Sometimes I would like even to evaluate the impact of some of the people that have done. But if women were in this particular position, Zainab, let me tell you, there will be so many feeding out of that. And there is a way in terms of stewardship, a kind of stewardship that women have, and they can really back up the president in terms of what he's doing. And also, they are very good in correcting in very small way, without really touching so much on the good side, and just pointing a few areas of improvement. And I think that kind of mindset that only comes from women, these men will not see. They will not understand. Yeah, and sometimes things have to be seen, to be done, but still we need somebody who can evaluate the situation all around, Zainab. And I think that is something.
No, that is a very fair opinion.
Yeah, you know, and because we have. I want to look at the dais once everyone comes in here. I want us to count, and you tell me how, apart from the few CSs and PSs, you tell me what other women are there, and there are very few. You go to a state function one day and you'll be shocked. You will be the only bright person with that blazer. I can tell you that, Zainab. But I think we can break this narrative. Even if it's the armed forces or the people who are protecting those VIP, can there be women on the table?
All right.
Zainab, I have a point of information. A point of information to her.
Yeah.
Just a point of information.
Yeah.
President William Ruto during campaign promised to give women 50% of his cabinet and all his appointments. So it's a good day to remind him that when he speaks here, he should go back to his promise.
All right. Let's hold
him to his word.
When we're looking at the gender parity issue, I agree with you. It's very important, because as Thomas Sankara put it, that women hold half of the sky up. And I agree with Sankara, as I would agree with Madam Kinyanjui here. Here on this table this morning, there's 50% representation.
No.
Because it was intentional.
Yes, exactly. No, listen, Maliba.
Okay, in terms of an analyst...
You are not part of us.
Okay, no, definitely.
No, but you saw... No, listen.
This is the bare minimum.
Maliba, learn to listen. First of all, if it's a question of this table, we are 50%. If it's a question of the analysts...
Engaged in the conversation.
Yes.
Wholly.
If it's the people you invited,
now,
2 men, 1 man.
Because I had to break all odds to be here.
You don't have
Yes,
to break the odds.
imagine it was a man.
Anyway,
no,
yes,
it's okay.
Make your point.
I am a member of the committee overseeing the implementation of the 10-point agenda appointed by the president and the late Raila Odinga. We have got 2 women there and 3 men. And the 3 are young men. The issue is this, and together with the other conscious, intentional decisions by the president, we can see deliberate effort. My point is this: we can continue pulling our socks from around the anklets. It's possible to continue doing it. It's not something that we can continue belaboring. It is something that we want to continue seeing being pushed. Not just in government, even in the private sector. It must be a normal thing. We must normalize it. The other thing, Zainab, I would say is that when we look at the president, and even as we await his critical act in a few hours through his speech, it is important for us to appreciate that the president's remarks cannot be limited only to an aspect of thought leadership. It is a whole canvas. He will speak to history. He will speak to the commitment of the Kenyan people and their resilience that Madam Kinyanjui is speaking about. He'll speak to the hard work, to the achievements that 62 years on, upon successive regimes, we as a people can pat ourselves on the back and say, we have come so far, and we are the better angels of our progress, and even the greater future that we want to walk into. It is a future that not only awaits us, it's a future that we need to build together. When Madam Kinyanjui gets out of her bed in the morning at Maliba to come and engage the nation on a critical issue such as this, such as even myself, we are saying that we are citizens that are not only conscious and spirit-lifted, we are people that are contributing and playing critical parts as professionals, as analysts, to take this country forward in various spaces.
Look, and
I just want him to correct a statement he made.
What is the future he's talking about?
Anybody listening might actually, there's a serious statement he made. He said that when you get out of your bed and me, no, we need to understand that, please.
Okay, look, I want us, and I know that time is moving fast, and we shall perhaps be going live to the Nyayo National Stadium. But when we critically analyze where we are and try and dissect where we've come from, and not necessarily just focusing on this regime or this administration, what are some of still the biggest challenges we're facing as a nation, as a country, as a people? Is it unity? Is it economic growth that is our biggest problem? Is it social equity that is our biggest problem? Is it political inclusion? Is it governance itself? Is it lack of or demonstrating that we appreciate our constitution to the last? What is the problem? And I'll give each of you an opportunity to just try and address where, and not just, don't critically look at it within one administration.
No, as in
throughout the years. Yes. So let me begin with you, Arnold.
I'll give it the context of our history.
All right.
We're talking about the 62nd JAMHURI Day we are marking. I love to actually segment where we've come from into three phases. We had the first liberation, as a people now called this entity that we try to refer ourselves, or rather we refer to ourselves as Kenyans. There was the first liberation that was to see the white man and colonialism leave. And like I said earlier on, colonialism was despotism. And that is why we were seeking for a republic, hence JAMHURI. But republic has got its merits and demerits. That those who came ahead of us did very well. You can't blame us if they didn't do anything right at that particular point, but we are grateful that our founders found it fit to fight for us, for themselves and for their generations, and we are beneficiaries, and for that we are forever grateful. That is the first liberation. The second liberation is that immediately after independence we realized that having a republic alone is not enough, that we need good governance. And for 50 years the people of this country, using different mechanisms, tools and platforms, many people lost their lives to fight for a democratic government. It is embodied in the Constitution 2010. In my opinion, I think and I know that there is the third. Also, it's also my opinion that that is the final liberation for a republic. It's the third and final liberation, and I call it socioeconomic empowerment. That you do not need to get into so many things. It is simply a summary of Article 10, that going forward you run this country by way of Article 10 and implement what is in Article 43. That everything you want is in Article 43. So, to achieve both Article 10 and Article 43, or rather to achieve Article 43, which is the third liberation, which is socioeconomic empowerment, so that it's not just enough to come from a country that is independent, that it's not just enough to come from a country that has got a progressive constitution, that should mean something to the quality of your life, and that is what Article 43 says. You will need the software that is Article 10. The thing that we lack is leadership. and management. Whatever way you look at it, if we get good leadership and good management of our resources, a good leadership of public affairs, and the management of public affairs, once we do it well, we sort that problem. But leadership and management as a problem is not a problem of politicians alone. It is also, it defines who we are as a people. By the way, you have never found a crocodile being a leader of cows or a cow as the leader of crocodiles. The leadership that we have is also a representative sample of who we are as a people. Democracy is like milk. The best substance in milk, which is the cream, comes on top. We might not be corrupt as a people, but we are corruptible. And that is where that data comes from. That we as a people are not today corrupt, but we are corruptible. So the outcome, the leadership problem that we have is not a leadership of our politics entirely. It is also a societal problem. If we were to be honest, we have done enough of blaming politicians and leaders. Can we also look into the mirror as people and say that we have seen our enemy and he is us? That is the truth. Because we are so eloquent on this platform, on social media and everywhere else, speaking about bad governance and the ills and what should be done right. But when we have got an opportunity to go and choose, we choose those who have money, those who are giving us bribes. We choose people for the simple qualification that they come from our clan or our tribe, or they come from our religion. So, besides politicians being the agents of the destruction, the weevils that are eating our republic and our dream, we are the enablers, we are the manure that these weevils feed upon. Yeah.
Ruth, oh, you wanted to respond to something? Well, I'll get back to you. Just hold on to that thought. You know, Ruth, when you critically look at everything that we've gone through as a country for all these years, and we'll still go back to the biggest challenges, economic issues, cost of living and all that, security and all this. But for you, where do we need to start addressing?
There are major things that we need to change. And first of it is mindset. Our mindset is wrong, and especially when we take on leadership. I've had Singapore since I was, I don't know how old. Yeah. And I don't know how we are still comparing with Singapore. You should stop and first retrospect in terms of what we need to do. The other thing is the fact that we are known as a country that develop all these policies and the best in class in Africa and beyond. Our people are some of the most educated, but we don't, when it comes to implementation of the same thing we said we are going to do, then it's zero. Actually, to a point of taking advantage of the same things that we did, they are sold to, they're actually given freely to other countries when we have spent so much to come up with such policies, and they succeed and we fail. I was in Malaysia a few weeks ago, and Malaysia is one of the countries that we are told, and because it was a British colony, we were supposed to be the same. We can never catch up with those people. We should just forget, because our culture is a culture of not doing it.
All right.
We have a low-key way of not making things happen.
All right, just holding on to that thought, we see their live pictures also from the Nyayo National Stadium. Deputy President Professor Kithure Kindiki has also made his way to the stadium for the national celebrations, indicating certainly that the President will also be making his way there in a short while. And we will be bringing you live pictures just to hear the sights and sounds straight from the Nyayo National Stadium in a moment as we wind up our analysis of where we've come from as a nation. Ruth?
So the culture of not wanting to do it is really what is hurting this nation. And the fact that there's nothing, the whole, when one political cycle ends, of the leadership of one cycle ends, they do not take up whatever was being implemented by the other person. And then the new person has to take afresh. How long shall we do this? Look at the counties. A new person, you come with your own ideas, you execute your own ideas, while others have projects all scattered. We have a way of ensuring that we misuse funds in whatever way. It doesn't mean that this country doesn't have money. This country is sufficient in itself. However, that disintegration that I cannot take forward what Java was doing. It's like I'm implementing his idea. Then Java's being out there saying, I wasn't creative enough because I'm doing his thing. I think we have to get to a point and know it is not about me being the bigger person or maybe having the monopoly of knowledge. No, it's beyond that. And our people have done so badly on that. Number two, I've always listened to leaders very well for the last 30 years since the time of Kibaki, you know, and there are always actually focus areas that each leader comes with. But apparently, all those focus, the big four agenda, before even it started, it had disintegrated. The Vision 2030, before it even, an SDGs, before it went somewhere, it had already broken. Now we are here, focusing maybe on affordable housing and maybe other and infrastructure, but we don't know how long it's going to hold. And these are our main problem. Right. Implementation, misuse of fund, not standing to the speak that we have. Yeah, and actually not delivering the promise that we promise our people. Very sad.
All right. Yes.
I think I would say that it's important for us to consider moving away from the whimsical platitudes of our politicians who are only engaging in scoring, debating and political points without actually serving the critical issues of the people. Time will come, indeed it has come, that we must keep on focusing and pushing on institutions to deliver, politicians to be held to account, and accountability must become the norm. The other thing is that we must appreciate records when they are right, and that there are imperfections and limitations which we must always seek to overcome. We must highly resolve as a people that the challenges that we faced in the yesteryears must not be perpetual, that we must overcome some minute challenges as we even confront greater ones that arise. Just a few weeks ago, actually a week ago, in Australia, the government banned access and the use of social media by the under-16s. Look at, for example, how social media is endangering the lives of teens and younger people, which they're accessing in their homes, etc., even at times at school. And some even predators targeting young girls and young boys on the internet. We are having new challenges emerging, which governments must continue to fight. We are having mental health challenges, issues that we must continue having policies and interventions in place. It was, some data was released, I think, about 2 weeks ago, that many young people are losing their lives through suicide in this country. We must start asking ourselves, what is leading our younger people, guys in high school, guys in colleges, to lose their lives in such a manner, and come together. It's not a question of pointing accusatory fingers at each other, but seeing how can we make our country better, even as we grow and move forward, take our country forward. And that's why I said that with each independence celebration such as this, it is a time to press on the gasoline, take the country forward, not through lamentations, but through spaces of conversation, discussion, expansion of freedoms and rights, and making sure that the table is expanded to accommodate everyone, women, the youth, old men, and even those that have been left out for too long, marginalized communities, the special interest groups. We must make sure that everybody feels that Kenya belongs to all of them.
And yes, Arnold, before I come back, just
something strange I saw.
Right, and just to give our viewers a sense of what's happening there, suddenly live pictures coming to us. President William Ruto making his way to the Nyayo National Stadium, of course, the convoy. I believe that is State House Road, if I'm not wrong. Yes, that is State House Road, and of course, so we will be keeping tabs with our team following that convoy. Certainly, we'll be heading there, and we'll be reaching the Nyayo National Stadium in about 4 or 5 minutes from now. Yes, Arnold?
I think that's State House Avenue, not State House Road.
Okay.
But I had seen something. I've just realized that the governor for Nairobi got to the stadium after the deputy president had got in, which essentially feels a little bit awkward. Probably it's a logistical problem.
Could it have been a problem perhaps in
problem
reaching
somewhere? But then ordinarily, the last person before the president gets in should ordinarily be the deputy president. So it's those small logistical issues that cause problems.
They can send messages different.
Why would a governor come in after the deputy president?
I am sure perhaps he might have some reasons. Who knows?
He probably slept late. Probably he had a hangover. You don't know.
Arnold.
I'm just saying there are many reasons.
Okay.
So he probably was sweeping the road the president would be using, so he was late.
Arnold, okay, fine. And look, I know that we are supposed to be winding up and picking this from the Nyayo National Stadium, but perhaps I think we still have a couple more minutes to banter on what we expect, perhaps. Ruth?
I like what Javan was saying, but the best thing about Javan is describing Jabas. He's describing a normal...
Jabas is a good word. Thank you, Ruth. The spirit revealed that to you. This is Jabas.
No,
Thank you for coming for the show.
Actually, today I'm giving everyone a name.
He probably owns a farm somewhere.
Zainab.
Where did you sleep?
Perhaps sweeping the streets.
No, it's okay. I think now going forward, I'll be sent for a flyer well in advance so that I can get the names. But what you are describing something very good, but a normal case scenario. But in life, normal case scenario is not always the case. There will always be distortions. Yeah, and I like the way you're saying we include everyone, we include the other. But in the normal, on the ground, that will not happen, especially when the goodwill of being inclusion is not there. So there has to be, that is a very good advisory, but that will not necessarily, it doesn't mean that is what is going to happen or be done. And that is what we all wish. Actually, that is also what we want to hear from this presentation today. But that does not mean that whatever we want is what needs to be done. However, can we be able to contribute those small ideas to build this country, because we have the goodwill of this country? It can be the best thing of Africa. We can be anything that we ever wanted to. Look at our people. They are ready to work. They are no work. Look at our people. They are ready to go out. Look at our people. They are ready to do anything just to ensure that they are even those ones in diaspora. They will tell you they are very content and happy in a diaspora, but they are looking at Kenya like this. I was just looking up the previous month on the remittances, which are actually some of the things that are helping us balance our foreign exchange. The remittances from diaspora has gone up to almost 1 trillion, you know? So meaning even those people who are outside, they want to be home. So how can we make home better? You know, without really sugarcoating, without lying, just being realistic, you know, and we talk to each other.
But Ruth, you know, even this year's JAMHURI Day celebrations comes exactly 5 months since what Arnold had talked about, the Sabasaba event, I mean the Sabasaba protests that took place here in the country. It was quite bloody. And you know, in modern Kenyan history, with at least the numbers that were killed by security forces, the president described these protests as attempted coup to some extent, while the Gen Z called them democracy in action. But on the day that we mark the birth of the Republic 62 years later, can you honestly tell Kenyans, especially the youth who make up about 75% of the population, whether we have a political system that is capable of meaningful reform, capable of showing that we are not sliding into doom and that we're heading in the right trajectory?
I feel there are major gaps that have not been dealt with, and the president himself or the government itself need to come out and address the gaps, because there are major glaring gaps. Even during the past elections, you know, there was a lot of bloodshed, and I feel those are issues that needs to be addressed. And dispute resolution is not somebody who is going to come out from outside and do it for us like we did, or like it happened in 2007 when we had Kofi Annan. Can we as a people start dealing with our issues and start going to the root cause of the main things that really ail us, especially the Sabasaba, even the finance bill demonstration, not only this year, but even last year? Can we be able to face each other and to have the hard conversation?
But do you agree when the president says, and do you agree when the government says, we have started addressing these issues? We've started addressing the economy. We're giving you affordable housing. We're giving you affordable healthcare. We're giving you this and that. And I go back to, I told you, I had an interview with CS somebody, and he says, look, we have to fix the macros to fix the micros. And I asked him, you know, on the issue of, let's go back to the issue of cost of living. And he says, it will take time. It is not something that just happens, right? And that this administration took over the economy that was almost at the brink of collapse. Do you think they've done enough?
Let me tell you that what has favored the economy of this country. Number one, the people. Number two, the weather condition. Something has just been mentioned here about the fact that it has not rained in November. So meaning, you know, those pictures that you normally bring in February and March of dying cattle and donkeys and whatever. Yeah. God forbid. But without that, just even the inflation rate, it hasn't gone high for the last 3 years. You'll see it since actually December 2023. You'll see it starting to skyrocket the coming year.
So just a quick rating.
Yeah.
So far this regime, what would you give it? 1 out of 10?
10 being best and 1 being worst.
Yeah.
I want to be balanced on that.
Just very quickly before
Right. I can give it a 6.
A 6.
Yeah.
Arnold, in just what? Very simple, brief.
No analytics.
In Exodus 14:13, when the children of Israel were facing the Egyptians who were coming to attack them, Moses told them, "Do not be afraid. Stand firm and you will see the deliverance of the Lord will bring you today. The Egyptians you see today, you will never see them again." I want to tell Kenyans not to be afraid. That this regime and all its horrors that you see today, you will not see it again. So out of 10, I will give them a perfect 3.5.
All right. And Javas, very briefly as well. Just
I think with all sobriety due to the moment,
very quickly,
I would give the president 6.5.
6.5. All right. Let's now cross over live to the Nyayo National Stadium to get a feel of the sight and sound of what's happening there. President William Ruto has arrived at the celebrations. Let's cross over live and listen in.
Nikirudia kwamba sasa tunamkaribisha mama wa taifa Bi Rachel Ruto. Tumpigie makofi na tumkaribishe kwa shangwe wa Kenya. Welcome, Your Excellency, the First Lady of this great nation, Her Excellency Rachel Ruto. Karibu. Parapanda hizo ni dhahiri shahiri kwamba anajiunga nasi Rais wa Jamhuri ya Kenya na Amiri Jeshi Mkuu wa majeshi yote ya ulinzi. Niombe kwa heshima sote tusimame kumkaribisha Mheshimiwa Rais tukiongozwa na bendi yetu ya Maroon Commandos. Makofi ya Daktari William Ruto.
Kenya, Kenya,
karibu.
Kenya taifa letu Kenya.
Mheshimiwa Rais,
Kenya nchi yetu.
utuongoze.
Kenya, Kenya, Kenya taifa
shangwe na vigelegele wananchi. Moja, mbili, karibu. Mheshimiwa Rais kwa sherehe ya Jamhuri. Karibu. Wapi shangwe ya kina mama? Wapi ngemi? Peperusha bendera kwa Mheshimiwa Rais. Moja. Karibu. Karibu. Mheshimiwa Rais, utuongoze kwa sherehe ya leo. Karibu. Wanafunzi, peperusha bendera. Karibu. Mheshimiwa Rais Daktari William Ruto, hongera kwa kazi nzuri. Nyayo Stadium, sherehe ya Jamhuri. Wapi makofi wanafunzi? Karibu. Mheshimiwa Rais, utuongoze kwa sherehe ya leo. Kauli mbiu, utalii, wanyama pori na miundo msingi. Moja, mbili, karibu. Mheshimiwa Rais, kwa sherehe ya leo. Wapi shangwe na vigelegele wananchi? Karibu. Moja, mbili, karibu. Mheshimiwa Rais, utuongoze sherehe ya Jamhuri. Wapi wakoloni waone haya na aibu? Karibu. 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 Kauli mbiu, utalii, wanyama pori na maendeleo. Wapi shangwe na vigelegele wananchi watukufu? Peperusha bendera jumuiya nzima. Karibu. Mbili. Peperusha bendera walio kwenye jukwaa mkono wa kulia. Karibisha Rais kwa shangwe na vigelegele. Moja. Nambari 1. Wapi makofi? Shangwe na vigelegele. Mheshimiwa Rais. Karibu. Moja. Mbili. Karibu. Jamhuri makala ya 62. Karibu. 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 Walio kwenye jukwaa Rais. Tumkaribishe Rais kwa makofi mabibi na mabwana.